Dear students, greeting from Chitkara University. I'm Narinder Gacha, Dean, Chitkara College of Sales and Marketing. Well, let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to the session of Marketing Management. Before I begin, let me share with you the course objectives. The first objective is to facilitate understanding of conceptual framework and marketing management. The second objective is application of marketing management in decision-making under various environmental constraints. The third objective is devising and implementing various marketing mix strategies. And the fourth course objective is interpreting current marketing challenges and emerging threats. Also, let me share with you the course outcomes. The course outcome is understanding the basics of marketing and its core components. The second outcome, be evaluating the complexity of marketing environment and marketing information system for effective planning. The third one is interpreting and applying the marketing strategy to enhance value creation for end customer. And finally, describing the contemporary issues and outlining pyramid marketing. Dear students, today we are discussing introduction to marketing management, and the keywords that you see on the slide right now, they completely embody the concept of marketing management, whether we talk about customer, strategies, market, organization, plan, matrices, projects, activities, and we learn about these keywords in details during the course of this presentation. I'm sure these advertisements would make you nostalgic, that because we've been listening to them on our television sets, on different social media platforms, and we know that what taglines they have. If I talk about surf, it is Taag Achhe Hain. We know if it's Tata Premium, the tagline is Jagore. We know that there was a campaign by Domino's, Happy Mother's Day. And who can forget the Zuzu campaign by Vodafone? But one thing, dear students, we must appreciate that these advertisements may look very simple on the face of it, but then there is a thoughtful strategy behind it. It's not that one fine morning the organization it woke up and they say, let's have this picture, let's have this advertisement, or let's have this tagline. Somewhere they're trying to create value for the customer. Somewhere they're trying to impact their target customer. Somewhere they're trying to have that emotional bond with the customer. And that's the reason we have these advertisements. There's a lot of research that goes into it. They also look at what is the kind of target group it will impact. So while we look at these advertisements, we also have to appreciate that there's a great effort that goes into making of these advertisements. Now let's look at a classic definition of marketing management by Philip Kotler, which goes, marketing management is the art and science of choosing target markets and getting, keeping, and growing customers to creating, delivering, and communicating superior customer value. Let's try and interpret this definition, because marketing management is all about creating, planning, executing business strategies in order to achieve organization goals. All these organizations, whether they offer a product or a service, at the end of the day, they're trying to provide value to customer. And we'll also try and study about that in greater details during the course of this presentation. You know, any or every organization for that matter would first look at what kind of product or service they have, what is going to be the target segment, what is going to be the target market, how are they going to position their product, what are the promotional strategies they're going to have in place if they want to have that differential advantage, how are they going to beat competition. So while they do all this, at the end of the day, they are trying to create value for the customer. I'm sure you would also be interested to know what all is marketed. Yes, goods, services, events, experiences, persons, places, properties, organizations, information, and ideas. I think on daily basis, goods and services, they're transacted. We buy goods and services. We buy products from our nearby market or outlets. If I talk about a mobile phone, most of us, we've got a mobile phone. This landed in our hand right now. But just think about the strategy which would have gone behind this to how to market this brand. They would have looked at what should be the market for them. What should be the pricing for them? What kind of target segment they should be looking at? What kind of technology? Would it be Android or iOS? Would they use some added features and advantages to create that differential advantage for the customer? So we may look at a product, or a good which is landed at a home, or we carry it on day in, day out basis, but we should try to appreciate that how was it marketed? And marketing doesn't end while a product or service is sold, it still continues. Let's talk about services. And I can remember of banking services or insurance services where they sell the intangibles. We've been talking about insurance consultants, those who come to our homes and they tell us how we should be doing the financial planning and what is our investment horizon, what kind of products or services we should be using over a period of time. And they kind of do not leave us once we have bought a product or once we have utilized the service. They try to remain with us for more number of years so that we also become their loyal customers. So service is all about experience. These organizations, they try and offer unmatched experience because one, yes, they want to acquire new customers. And the other challenge is that they want to retain the old customer. Yes, events, dear students, are also marketed because, again, they're trying to engage customers and at every customer touch point. Now, if I have to talk about any product or service that we will be using, or we may be, let's talk about, I think we have LPG cylinder, or all homes would have an LPG cylinder. So how do you book that cylinder? Either you can go to their website or book it, or maybe you can, call them telephonically, or you can use the IVR system, or you can get in touch with the delivery boy. These are all customer touch points. And the endeavor of each organization is to enhance customer experience at each customer touch point. When I talk about experiences, yes, these companies, they try to enhance our experience through engaging customers through loyalty programs and making them use their product, real-time usage of product, inducing real-time usage of products. Yes, persons are also marketed. These days, I'm sure all of you are on social platforms, and you would see, these days, motivational speakers, pictures of motivational speakers and the kind of events they are doing. So it is all about personal brand building that is happening. Now, it's not that somebody got up in the morning and said, oh, I should post my picture and suddenly I'll become popular. People will start following me. I'll give sermons. No, it doesn't happen like that. Dear students, again, there's a strategy that goes behind this. First, he will research what kind of offering he's got. What is he going to offer to his customer? And who are his customer? Is he looking at the younger population? Or is he looking at the older population or the middle-aged people? Then how is he going to price his product? How is he going to promote his product? Is it going to be a digital promotion? Because we know digital marketing is the in thing these days. So everything counts and they have to keep this in mind, and then probably they build the personal brand, as we say. Yes, places are also marketed these days, and they try and build that hook in our mind, and they try and build that emotional tie also, because I can, this time remember of Kerala tourism talking about, visit Kerala, God's own country. So they try and allure you, they try and market it, but then they know that which strategy is going to work where and how are they going to market their product or services. Properties, I'm sure there's a lot of AI and ML coming into it, which is artificial intelligence or machine learning. Once you click on any ad which is pertaining to property consultant, you start getting phone calls from them. And these days, you also get virtually guided tours of properties that helps you generate your interest in that property, even if you're not visited that place. So that is how they've been marketing their properties. Organizations, yes. Organizations are also marketed because it is all about perception. If you buy a product, if you buy a service, sometimes you may not know the technicalities of that product or service, but the positive perception of that very product or service helps you to decide that probably this is the product or service that you're looking forward to. When I talk about marketing organizations, there's a lot of positive blogs that you see about certain organizations. You see a lot of recommendation that helps us build a positive perception about that organization. Information, definitely. We're talking about synthesis, we're talking about analysis, we're talking about research, and there's loads and loads of information available. And if I have to talk about or give you an example, then there's a lot of information on the social media platforms that how can you make your own videos and post it on YouTube, because some people may not know it. But this is how they're marketing information, ideas. I'm sure we are in a startup era where ideas, make a lot of difference. So they just post an idea and they ask people to come together, have networking, and from there on, the story starts. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there are different things that are getting marketed, but then there's a strategy behind it. There's a science behind it. There's a process which is behind it. Dear students, I'm sure the products and services are transacted because there is a demand in the market. Now, there could be different demand states, and let's try and look at it. We have negative demand. And when I talk about negative demand, we know that we hate going to a dentist because of the excruciating pain that we would have in our tooth. Or we actually hate getting vaccinated also because it's painful. Target segment for these product or services may not desire to have these products, but then they have to have it, because if we don't go to a dentist, the pain will not subside. We will still live in pain and agony. And if we do not get vaccinated, we will not be able to save ourselves against some deadly diseases. If I talk about no demand, I'm sure we use cell phones, but then if you look at the cell phones which are introduced way back, say 10 year, 20 year back, they become redundant because we are looking at superior version of phones. Now we're looking at smartphones, and they were not smartphones, so they're no longer in demand. Let's look at latent demand. That means that product or service may not be existing at that point in time, but people desire to use or utilize that product or service in future, or even if they come to know that this is how it can be used, like harmless cigarettes, fuel efficient cars, or I would say rather driverless cars in India, though they are available internationally, but now people are looking forward to driverless cars as well. Declining demand, yes, CD players and iPods led to decline of Walkmans. Earlier, people used to flaunt Walkmans and they used to walk around with that, but they are no longer in use. Irregular demand, we know in hotels, especially now after we've gone through some very disturbing and unusual and unprecedented times, but now we see people, taking to all these hill stations and all these dream destination, and suddenly you see a surge in hotel occupancy. So it's an irregular demand. It may go up, it may go down, it could be seasonal. Let's also try and understand about full demand. And the example that I can think of right now is medicine, because when a doctor prescribes you medicine, even if it's expensive, you will not buy any other brand, even if the pharmacist say that I'll give you a substitute, because you trust the doctor. And the other thing is, this is a high involvement product because this is related to your health. Over full demand, we know air and trade fares, increase during the festival season, and we see a certain spike in the air fares also and the train fares as well. And then finally, we have wholesome demand, when people really do not desire to have cigarettes and alcohol because they are injurious to health. But then still these products, they have a demand. So what I'm trying to tell you is there is a demand in the market. And these organizations, they build strategies to market their products and services by creating unmatched value for the customer, so that they can use it and they can derive the best benefit out of the product or service that they have bought. Now let's try and look at some of the marketing concept, that how these, what are the platform, how they market it. Yes, if you have to buy a product or service, you can simply go to a traditional market and you can buy it from there, from a shop. This is the physical way of buying it. Or you may go to a store, maybe more organized way of buying a product. Or you can use the market space, which is now in vogue or in fashion. We have the digital mode, we have internet, through which a lot of products and services are transacted. And we also have the meta market, which is cluster of complementary products. Even if I have to talk about meta market, I think Amazon is also one example where you have diverse products and you have diverse buyers coming and buying different things. Yes, I can think of some automobile. Now we have a lot of apps also available. Earlier we had True Value from Maruti, but now you have Car24. If I have to talk, we have OLX, where different brands are being sold. So these are the marketplaces or market spaces where the products and services are available, where the customer would typically go and buy, that would fulfill their needs, wants, and demands. Let's try and understand. I was talking to you, dear students, that all of us, we have our needs and wants and demands. And since there is a demand in the market, that's the reason organizations exist. Now, what is the difference between needs, wants, and demands? I'll put it in a very simple manner. Look, I'm feeling hungry, that's my need. But when I say I'm feeling hungry, but I want a burger, so this becomes what I want because I'm asking for something specific. And when I say no, I want a McD burger, backed by ability to pay, because which has a cost around it, which is a brand. So that becomes my demand. So organizations keep all these things into mind while they have to design their strategies. They look at target markets, positioning, and segment. If I talk about target markets, they look at what will be the most viable market for them to transact. Now, if I talk about school, I think they are the most lucrative segment for companies, those who have apps around education, because that becomes their target segment. They want to sell it to schools. They want to tell them that if they use this will help them in their career. And also positioning, how are they going to position your product? Let me share with you, I'm sure you know that we have Apple, we have Android phones. Now, the way Apple has positioned its product, a premium image. If you walk into an Apple store, you would never ever negotiate. But if you walk into a mobile store, which is somewhere, in the corner of the town, I'm sure you'll try and negotiate with them. But that doesn't happen at an Apple store, because that's the way they've positioned their product. At the end of the day, there are other companies who may have added features also, advantages also, but still you want to stick with something which is premium. So that is the way Apple has been able to position its product. So segmentation, segmentation is what kind of group are you trying to impact? Is it the older people, on basis of age, basis of geography? Is this product for, for males or for females? So everything is taken into account while we are talking of segmentation. And I can reminded of a, example of Nestle, some time back, that earlier Nestle was not focusing on the rural segment. They were only present in the urban segment, the kind of products they had. But then they thought there was a strange change in strategy. They said, let's start focusing on the rural segment as well. And you won't believe the kind of success they had while working while focusing on the rural segment, the kind of quantum jump they saw in their sales. And you will not believe me that they were competing with the best in the rural market already. So competition was stiff. There were odds against them. The conditions were not favorable, but then they devised a strategy. They said, no, we will focus on the rural segment. This is the product range we're going to have. And this is the segmentation. This is the group that we'll be looking at. And they were very, very successful at that. Yes, offerings and brands make a difference. Value proposition made tangible. And what kind of products that we have, what kind of offerings do we have so that we can compete with the best in the market. Brand offering known as a known source, I shared with you already. The phone that comes from Apple is definitely a brand. And what should it offer? It should offer value and satisfaction. I've been talking right from the beginning that at the end of the day, all organizations, they're trying to create value for money for their consumers. Because we may buy a product, we may not know the technology which is being used. Sometimes we may not be aware of the features, the advantages, the benefits. But at the end of the day, if it offers me quality, if it offers me value for money, I think that's enough. That's probably, would serve the purpose. Satisfaction, a product's perceived performance. We know, again, this is all about perception, dear students. We need to understand. We know a Tata product can never, fail. That's a perception, people have built over a period of time. So satisfaction also comes from the fact, Maruti for that matter. We know a Maruti car will never break down. And even if it does, there's a service guy just nearby. So that is the kind of perception these brands have been able to build. And how would these products and services would travel, to the end consumer? So the communication channel we know it is through digital marketing. You have social media platforms where there's a two-way message. Sometimes these organizations, they do not want their consumers or customers to become passive users of their product or service. So they engage them. And this engagement leads to better customer experience. This engagement leads to that emotional tie between the customer and the product and the brand. It definitely enhances the brand image in the market, the overall perception as well. Even the distribution channel makes a difference. Some products, they have to go through channels like you have the CFA, you have the manufacturer, you have the retailer, you have the wholesaler, you have the distributors, and the service channel, to carry out transaction. I'm talking about intermediaries, I'm talking about the transportation part of it, I'm talking about the insurance part of it. So everything counts. Now let's look at holistic marketing. When we talk about holistic marketing, There's internal marketing, there's integrated marketing, there's performance marketing, there's relationship marketing. When I talk about internal marketing, it is about marketing within the organization. The stakeholders try and create more brand awareness. They try and create more positive culture in the organization. They try and build leadership mindset in the organization so that everybody is working positively and is engaged and working positively towards the building of the brand. If I talk about integrated marketing, here companies, they leverage their message at all platforms. If I talk about Pepsi, the message was "Dil mange more," ye dil mange more. So you look at the communication, then you look at their hoardings, then you look at their products, you look at their services, then you look at their events, you look at their promotions, you look at their advertisement. Everywhere they were leveraging one message, which was "Ye dil mange more." Performance marketing, well, this is quite in fashion now. Here, the advertiser is paid only once they are able to deliver what is, arrived at during the discussion with the organization. They would only pay, if they get the results. Like, I'll give you an example that an X company would pay to an advertiser only if they get X number of likes or hits on their website or the product, whatever, or likes, that way. So this is performance marketing. And let's talk about relationship marketing. Well, relationship marketing is about customer relation management. I was talking to you, it's not only about acquisition of new customers, it is about retaining your old customers as well. So this talks of a lot of loyalty programs. As I was talking to you, that these credit card companies, they offer you a lot of loyalty programs. They give you access to international lounges at the airport, or even if you go and buy, you would get some discount, and they keep on telling you, they keep on sharing with you that if you buy this, this is the kind of discount you get. So it is about engaging the customer for a longer period of time. That's the end objective. Yes, they create a lot of value, but we know that the entire customer cycle, they want to be with the customer, and they want to offer lifelong value. I was talking to you earlier about value creation for the proper service, but relationship marketing is all about offering a lifelong value creation for the customer, that he stays longer with the organization and buys his product and even recommends it to others as well. So let's look at the marketing task, because we were talking about strategies, we were talking about customers, we were talking about communicating value, delivering value. So let's look at what are those typical tasks which are there while we have to create a strategy, or maybe when we're looking at marketing management. Yes, you have to develop a marketing strategy plan. You have to have a blueprint in place. What is our strategy? What is the kind of product that we're going to launch, or service that we're going to launch? Or what is a short-term or long-term plan that we have? What is the course correction that we'll have to do if there is some unforeseen event that happens? So everything needs to be taken into account while building a marketing strategy. What is the touch and feel of that product? What are the regulatory bottlenecks which are there? What are the statutory bottlenecks which are there? How am I going to plan, the placement of this product? How do I make it available to people? What is my promotion plan? What are the platforms that I'm going to leverage? It's very, very important. Capturing market insight, trying to research, finding out the customer behavior, trying to find out trends and patterns, because that will help them decide as to what kind of marketing plan they can have in place. Connecting with customer, yes, it's very important, even if they're using our product or not, or even if they're using our products, and even if they're not using, because they gave us insight. And these students, we must understand that what is actually the end result of marketing management, or what are we trying to achieve through market management? What we're trying to achieve is to convert a potential customer into an actual customer, somebody who starts buying from us, somebody who starts using our services. Please keep that in mind. Building strong brands, yes, sustainable brands, building that kind of perception, because I was talking to you about positioning and perception, that makes a lot of difference. Shaping the market offering, that today, if this is how the competition is behaving, maybe I can improve my offerings, maybe I can have range of products also, which may cater to a different age group, different target segment, different groups. Delivering value, very important. I've been speaking this time in and time again, that we need to deliver value all the time. And with communicating value is equally important. Yes, we have to deliver value, but we have to communicate to the customers and to potential customers also that, yes, this is how we deliver value. Look, we promise that we'll be, if I talk about companies like Blue Dart, DHL, they promise that the product would be delivered in such and such time, and then you see a lot of ads coming around it that, yes, this is what we committed and this is what we've been able to achieve. And then finally, creating a long-term growth. We are looking at sustainability. It's not about selling a product and then leaving the market. It's about being there. It's about creating value. It is about creating long-term growth as well. Dear students, I'm sharing some books for your reference. I'm sure these will come in handy in times to come, and you can refer to these books as well. So thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best, and hope to see you again once we connect up for the next session. So thank you so much. Have a nice day, and God bless. Thanks a lot.